My name's Eric Wielander, and BestPhotos version 3 is finally here. It's launching today as this video is, and I want to share with you some of the exciting new features that'll help you take your photo management to the next level. Now, if you're not familiar with BestPhotos 3, I also have an introduction video, so go check that video out. When you launch BestPhotos 3, you'll see a brand new design. Now, of course, it supports light mode and dark mode. I'm in dark mode right now, but your interface might look light if that's the way your device is set up. Now, you can of course override this theme in settings to choose always to have the light mode or dark mode, whatever your preference is. From this main library screen, which has a lot of familiar same features of BestPhotos, you can swipe to the left and get the calendar view. So this is a new way to look at your photo library. You can tap on any individual day and see the day there. You can also tap on the little chevron thing next to the month header, and that will show you all the photos in that particular month. Now, if you tap on the year, it'll allow you to jump to the same month you're looking at in whatever year that is that you select. And then if you tap on the month header, it will also allow you to jump within the year you're looking at to a particular month. I find this to be a great way to get to events very quickly, and it also allows, it's also just great for browsing through my photo library, whether I'm just trying to relive memories or I'm trying to find areas of my photo library maybe I need to clean up that need some more, whether it's deleting of photos or some photos that I haven't shared. It's a great new tool to look at your photo library and explore it, and it's completely free with BestPhotos 3. So speaking of quickly jumping to events, I'm just tapped here on Sunday, August 16th. I took this shot of a lighthouse here on Lake Michigan with my iPhone using night mode. And it turned out great. And the cool thing about the iPhone, of course, is it records the camera location where you took the photo. Now, I also took my big camera that I'm filming this video with along with me and shot some other pictures earlier in the evening, and those don't have the location saved. So you've always been able to edit location in BestPhotos of a particular photo, but now I'm adding some new ways that make it even easier. And one of those is to copy and paste locations. So I'm going to go to the photo I took with my iPhone, and in the menu here, I'm going to choose the copy location option. And so that copies that location. Now it doesn't save it to your system clipboard, it just saves it within BestPhotos. And then I can go here and paste it to any one of these photos. Now, I could go out and select multiple photos and paste them all at once. In this case, for the demo, I'm just going to go here to this other lighthouse photo and choose to paste the location. Now it'll give me a little confirmation. We're going to paste this location to this photo, and then I hit save, and it saves that update right here in BestPhotos. Now, one of the other great features of BestPhotos has been there for a while is compare mode. And with version 3, compare mode gets some cool new features as well. So I can tap in here to compare mode, and you'll see it does a better job, I think, of differentiating which side you're moving and which side is sort of static. So the idea with compare mode is you have a photo that you want to compare to other photos you took at about around the same time. So you tap on the compare mode button, and then you get these two sides where one of the sides is locked, and that means it's not going to move. So as I advance through pictures, you'll see that the one side is not moving, but the other side is. And with BestPhotos 3, then you can also unlock and lock either side. So one side's always going to be locked. It just kind of helps keep things easier to use, I felt like, in trying different ways to do this. But I can just tap the lock button. You'll see the film strip over here flips to the other side, so you see which side you're moving through photos. And the photo that was on the other side is now just locked there in place. So you can start comparing that photo. And then we can go through, and let's say for some reason we want to compare this photo, then we can lock that and go over here and select a different photo on the other side. And of course, you still have all the great features of BestPhotos compare mode from the past, like synchronized zooming. So I'm zooming in on one photo and then it zooms in on both and I can pan around and see. And that can be very handy, especially when you're looking at multiple of the same photo. So let's go here, or very similar photos. So here I can pull up one of these and then I'm going to pull up a similar version here. And now if I zoom, it's just really nice to be able to look at the details of those particular shots and see what what the differences are up close, and just have that zoom and pan together. So that's all still there, and I think unlocking and locking different sides of compare mode is going to be very helpful. And now, of course, if you're on an iPhone, a vertical device, or if you turn your iPad into portrait mode, that compare mode is going to be stacked one on top of each other as opposed to side by side. And then, of course, you can choose with compare mode just which side of the, if there's a particular one of those photos you want to delete, you can make that choice and move on to comparing and deciding between other photos. And that's really the goal there, is that it unlocks, it's a premium feature of BestPhotos, and it just, I think, allows you to really get into the details of if you have a few photos that are really close and you want to pick one that you want to share to friends and family or social media or whatever else, you can really get in there and look at the details and say, okay, I want this one because that person's smile is just a little bit better. Seeing them both on screen at the same time can make that really easy. So another cool new feature in BestPhotos 3 is camera import. So you can connect a camera or an SD card in this case and just import photos from there. But there's some cool new features within BestPhotos that make it, I think, a little bit better than just using the Photos app or another app to import photos into your library. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the SD card here to my iPad. And this one uses USB-C. Of course, it also works with, there's a Lightning to SD card adapter, any kind of Lightning connector adapter for iPhones as well. And I'm going to hit this import button here. And it'll ask me to select a source. Now, it'll show the file picker, but it will only let you choose either SD cards, cameras, external drives, things that are physically attached to the device. You can't import from, say, Dropbox or iCloud or other network stores. It's just a limitation of how I needed to build this feature right now. So just keep that in mind of what you can do with this and what you can't. Again, because it's a premium feature, and I want you to know what you might be getting if you decide to upgrade. You hit done. And then it's going to go ahead and look through those photos. Now, again, these might look familiar. These are those lighthouse photos we were looking at earlier. And you'll see that I have them all selected to import. If I wanted to select only a handful, I could totally do that here. I can also go ahead and apply a photo location. So I've selected Ottawa Beach here on Lake Michigan as my location. So I'm going to hit done. Now, that will go ahead and apply that location to the photos on import. So just as if you've gone through in BestPhotos and changed the location, it can happen automatically as you import the photos. Now, of course, Michigan's over in Eastern time. I live here outside of Chicago in Central time. Oh no, what if I forgot to set the time on my camera to be in Eastern time when I went over there? So I need to bump these photos up by 1 hour. So I just hit the +1 hour button, and that adjusts the date of the photos to be 1 hour ahead. And of course I could, change this to whatever you want, and you'll see updating here on the grid of photos, what the time is that it's actually going to be imported as. So in this case, I'm looking at, these are around like 7:46 p.m.-ish when I took these photos. Now, if you like to organize photos in albums, you can also auto-assign these pictures to an album on import as well in your photo library. And if you want to favorite them for one reason or other, depending on how you work through photos, you can go ahead and flip that toggle as well, and they'll be favorited. So once you're ready to import these photos, you can just go ahead and choose Import All, and that's going to go through and give you a progress of each one of them. It'll show you if there's an error with any of the imports, and you can just see this happen right here as it goes through each of those raw files from the the raw image files from the camera and then imports them. So now the import's complete. I'm going to hit done. And now these photos are added right here in the recently added part of Best Photos, and of course any other albums you put them in. So they're in your library and then syncing up to iCloud if you have that turned on, of course. Now, smart searches have been in Best Photos for a while, but one of the new ones that's been added in version 3 is weird dates. Now, what are weird dates? Let me explain that really quick. So you might remember if you are old enough that it used to be when you took your photos to get developed somewhere from like the negatives from film, you could have an option for a while, like in the early 2000s, to get your photos also put digitally on one of these things, a compact disc. Remember these? And then you could, of course, import those into your computer. Now, before the photos ever get even close to iCloud Photo Library or Best Photos, something with the date gets messed up, and then the date gets set to nil, or no date. And then sometimes what that means is a file system will then say, oh, that must mean it was at epoch time 0, which means the date of the photo was January 1st, 1970, in GMT time, or like basically London time, more or less. So, you get like January 1st, midnight, 1970, all of a sudden you have a bunch of photos from then that probably actually weren't from that time. Unless, you had a really great 1969 New Year's that you happen to have photos that you scanned in for. I don't think that's as likely for people as that the date got messed up. So weird dates helps you find any of those photos in your photo library. That can also be really helpful with the calendar as well. If like most of your photos from your photo library are pretty recent, but then because of some error with dates on files, you'll just have this weird 30-year gap in your photo library that doesn't make sense. So it's time to clean those up and find them and assign them what you think is probably the right date for those photos. Now that gets to another cool feature about Best Photos 3. Let's say I want to go in here and edit the date of this photo. So this photo was from March of 2007, and I don't have a ton of photos from March of 2007, so it doesn't really matter if I get the date exactly right. I could go back and maybe try and figure out what it exactly is. But regardless, if I want to go ahead and edit the date of the photo, it's not going to be December 31st, 1969, or, basically GMT 0. I want to go ahead and set it to a modern day date of 2007. And I'm going to say March, and let's just say March 5th. And so that'll go ahead and set the date. Now, if I want to set the time as well, I can adjust it by a certain number of hours. So I'm going to say that this photo was taken around, it looks like sometime in the afternoon, maybe like 4 o'clock, because I remember being there, and it's probably around 4 o'clock. And now you'll notice that it says, okay, the time is going to change to 4 p.m. on March 5th, 2007. So there's a bunch of cool things you can do here. First of all, you can edit multiple photos at once. And you can also edit either the date, and it will go ahead and adjust the date for all of the photos to a particular date, or you can just change the offset. So let's say you took a bunch of pictures with your camera, or for some reason the time, you just want to bump the time zone on some of these photos up an hour. They could be across multiple dates, and you can just adjust them all plus 1 hour, minus 1 hour, or plus 5 minutes if it was just that your clock on the camera or something was running a little slow. Then you can go ahead and do that, and it's not going to change the date. In this case, with the weird date smart search, we want to give this photo a date that makes more sense, and then we're done. You'll see that the time was changed here. So with Best Photos 3, I've added the calendar view, importing photos from an SD card, updates to compare mode, a whole bunch of features around date modification for photos as well. Not to mention, it's easier than ever to change and update the location of photos. So a whole lot of exciting new features. And also, one of the reasons it took this long is I really rethought a bunch of stuff about Best Photos to get from version 2 to version 3. So over a year in the making, but I really laid the foundation for a lot of exciting other new features with Best Photos. So we're just getting started with version 3 with a whole bunch of new exciting stuff that you'll be able to see and play with and have fun. And of course, I'm going to be posting more videos about all of that here on the YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it. If staying in tune with this app is something you're interested in doing, I hope this YouTube channel will continue to be a place for people to do that and learn more about BestPhotos. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.